just do. I was probably saying to her. Ariana said, why are you singing that? What makes you sing that song? I said, why? You know that song? Yes, she said. My grandfather used to sing it to me all the time. I have a very special feeling about that song. Yeah, I was sentimental, that's the date, you know, whatever I did, yeah. Ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. I can say this is mine, you can't take it. Or, what's that? What musical is this from? Just once in a lifetime, a man knows a moment, one wonderful moment when fate takes his hand. And this is my moment. What song? What show is that from? I don't know.
You're like a jukebox.
I'm a good jukebox.
You're releasing your 4th album.
Yes, ma'am.
Still Blooming, coming in April. Tell me a bit about this project. When did you start working on it? What inspired it?
It's our 4th album with the great Decca label and Verve. But this one, as we continued and found ourselves at Scott Gilman's studio, the hobby shop, we said, let's make some more music and let's get some more singers to do like we had on our other 3, half of the tracks. Mm-hmm. So on this one, we got half kind of instrumentals. You know, we'll talk about all the tracks if you like. And half singers. So let's do more of that. And we found ourselves in the studio and doing it, for heaven's sakes, because we had good ideas that we were excited about.
Yeah.
And we've got merchandise coming out with that has something to do with that. And the singers to whom I referred will talk about, how about that?
Yes, we will talk about that.
Do they know? Maybe they don't even know yet, but you do. You listen to it.
I know. Yeah, some pretty big names. Before we get into the features, I need to ask the obvious question. You've had quite a life and career, but do you feel as though you are still blooming?
Well, like the record title suggests, refers to, yeah.
How nice.
Yeah, I've been lucky, like you say. But my teacher, now that I'm talking around and about it, Sandy Meisner, said it takes 20 years to really call yourself an actor after continual work. Just like it does to be a real musician or an athlete or anything, you got to put in the 10,000 hours or however many. And then a lifetime of continual, potentially, if you get opportunities and you have the intent and focus, potential progress. Mm-hmm. I kind of took that to heart, and maybe I'm made that way a little bit anyway. I've always said that my experience is truly that I'm a late bloomer. For instance, I just had kids for the first time in my life 9 years ago. We have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old, 2 boys, who are, by the way, playing piano and being musical in their own way. And likewise, my acting feels like it's better than ever. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting opportunities to exercise that and my music.
Yeah.
I keep getting, jazz, I always knew that, you could keep getting in the same vein, you could keep getting better and better. And sure enough, I could certainly, I've always been a humble student, and now I'm surrounded by, for instance, this current group. It's been going on for like 30 years, me in a so-called band, but this current group are the cream of the crop, and I'm eager to learn. Like Sandy Meisner said, as a matter of fact, continual digging is even more important than what you're doing exactly. Just keep digging. And so every morning I do my work, and I'm blooming at this, I'm still blooming.
Well, I feel like the lead single fits in perfectly with this conversation. The best is yet to come.
The best is yet to come the day that you're mine.
Did you call it the lead single?
Yes.
I guess we did. We released that as a single, first off.
Yes.
Because we'll release a couple others. I think you're right. The best is yet to come. Yep.
That has one of the few collaborators on this album, stunning Scarlett Johansson.
Stunning is right.
What a voice. Complements the song so well.
Thank you. I agree wholeheartedly.
How'd you get her on the song? Is that like a simple text, a call?
Well, we were part of 2 Wes Anderson movies. We both had voices in Isle of Dogs.
Yes.
She was fantastic in that, wasn't she?
Yes.
We were both at the premiere of Asteroid City.
Okay.
And on that occasion, I got to talking about my musical life and our band life, and said, and some people sing with us, Scarlett. She said, well, why haven't you asked me? We're da-da-da-da-da-da. I said, well, I couldn't dare to hope. But she said, yeah, I'd like to do something. We got in conversation, and then she started to talk to Alex and all of us at the band, and she suggested that song. She said, I like that song, and it was her idea also to do it, as we wound up doing, as a bossa nova.
Yeah.
So sensual and evocative and romantic and delicious. Yeah, I think it was great. So we did it, and they did the arrangements, Alex Frank and Joe Bagg, who did all the arrangements on this except for Stella by Starlight, which John Story did. And then we recorded it. I love it. It's pretty good, isn't it?
Oh, it's better than pretty good.
Thank you. Yeah, I like it too.
The other two collaborators I want to shout out, if I may.
You must. I beg you to.
We have Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo on this album.
Isn't that something?
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. Well, who can we talk about first? I mean, you've heard them.
Yes.
Nobody's heard them yet. So here's what happened there. I just could think the world of them, you know.
Yeah.
They're so dear and masterful and spectacular.
Yes.
In this movie, Wicked. So we were on the set of Wicked. Maybe you've seen by this time.
Only 5 times, yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. Had you seen it on stage a lot too?
Just once on stage.
I've seen it a couple times on stage. That's Stephen Schwartz music, and them doing that. They do everything, as you know, but them doing that is particularly.
Yeah.
So we were on the set, and I could have been intimidated, but they were so warm. Besides all their other gifts, they're so personally wonderful and warm and inviting that pretty soon I was singing everything from the American Songbook, all of which they knew,
Yeah, of course.
and joined in. We would sing along, and any Broadway shows stuff. So I was singing, and one day I started to sing that song. I don't know how it came to me. I don't know why I love you like I do. I don't know why I just do. I was probably saying to her. Ariana said, why are you singing that? I said, you know that song? Yes, she said. My grandfather used to sing it to me all the time. I have a very special feeling about that song. I said, well, you know, we do these, I have this band, maybe we've talked about it already, and we're recording now. If you would ever think about singing with us, you know, maybe that song. She said, yes, I'd love to. That was
meant to be.
That was meant to be, and how, you know, I was just thrilled beyond words. Then Cynthia Erivo, I was also singing, and I said, hey, at one point, Cynthia, would you know, I've asked Ariana's gonna sing. I don't feel that I wouldn't be equally honored to have you sing. She said, well, yeah, sure, I'll sing. Yeah, and she heard our band and stuff. She said, yeah, I'll sing. What? And then we were thinking, and we came up with Vera Lynn sang and had a big hit on Decca, you know, during World War II. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when. But and it's used in that movie that I love so much. Do you know what I'm talking about? There's a Stanley Kubrick movie, Dr. Strangelove.
Oh, yes.
You know it? You ever see it?
Yes.
Yeah. So at the end of that movie, when the whole world goes up in smoke, ironically, they play that beautiful song, We'll Meet Again, Don't Know Where. And people know it in England. It was a big hit there. We suggested it. She said, yes, I'll sing that. We came up with an arrangement. She came to our studio, the hobby shop that belongs to Scott Gilman, our saxophone player, who's also the engineer. She came in, sang it. Oh my gosh, chills and tears as usual.
What was it like? You said you got chills, you know, hearing Cynthia sing in the studio. You got to see them perform at the Oscars.
I knew you were going to say that.
I had to ask.
With you and I defying gravity, they'll never bring us down.
You know, not only did I see her in the flesh, have I seen her in every way and sing
Do you ever get used to that?
No. No, as I think about it now, I'm going to start to get choked up. She's just unbelievable. And just when she opens her mouth, it's just fantastic. And no, I'd seen her at a couple of events. Where were we? Oh, at the Met Ball.
When Ariana performed? Yeah, I saw videos.
Yeah, and Cynthia did something
Came
too.
out as well, yeah.
Well, you know, so I've seen them not only in person sing like this just for fun and in the movie like that, which is unbelievable, but yes, I've seen them in a space like that, space so-called, and then, so at the Oscars, oh my golly, I was sitting near John M. Chu, who directed that movie, who's just a master. Oh, it was just unbelievable. I thought it was great. I thought that was a great part of that show, you know, but you know, I adore them. You know, I was chilled and thrilled.
So the album comes out, you're going to perform some shows, and then you go back into Wicked mode. Do you ever turn
You have
off?
my whole calendar.
I know where you're going to be.
That's my life.
Can you say anything?
About Wicked for good, you know, because it's got to be a surprise in some way.
Of course.
But people know the show from the stage show.
Yeah.
it'll follow something along those lines if I remain in it, if I don't get lost on the cutting room floor, because The Wizard has something in that second act. It follows
Yes.
that. There's that song that you may know, Wonderful That I Sing, but it's different, and they're in this version, and there are 2 new songs that the great Stephen Schwartz has written.
Yes.
So that, I haven't heard. I don't know.
Wow.
So there'll be several things about this that I'll be surprised about. Alex Frank helped me. He was my vocal coach, and we, do right by that show and that Stephen Schwartz song that I get to do. No, maybe The Wizard, maybe my version of The Wizard has something. I tap dance. That tap dance wasn't that I do it for a second. Wasn't part of it. That's a little jazzy.
A little jazzy.
I was pals
yes.
with Gregory Hines at one point. Did a play with him. Did a movie with him. So I don't know. I didn't. I don't know that I snuck that much in.
I'm really curious because I think we all obviously know how and why you got into acting, but where did the musical journey start for you? Like, at what age did you discover that you loved jazz?
Around 10-ish, I'd already taken part in a camp of one kind or another, and got the idea. My dad said, if you find something you love to do, that maybe is a career choice.
Yeah.
One thing led to another, and I decided around that time, I want to be an actor. My parents gave us music lessons along with dance lessons and some other things, and took us to see shows and museums and ballet, and they were great that way. I took up the piano along with my sister, and I was okay. I had some facility at it. I guess I learned how to read and could kind of put together, but I had no discipline. I had no, and in between lessons, he would come once a week, and my parents didn't make me. They tried, I remember a little, come on, let's do this, but not much like I'm doing now with our kids. And so a week would go by for the first couple of years, I think, and Tommy Emmel in Pittsburgh would come and go see what I'd done, and I'd be dreading it. I'd do something, he'd go, how much did you practice? And anyway, then he gave me an arrangement or 2 of some jazzy kind of things. The first of which was Alley Cat, as I remember, had some syncopation in it, and that just appealed to me, something in me.
Yeah.
Mysteriously, I liked it. I don't know what I'd heard or what I was made of, but I liked it. And at that point, I went, I'm going to sit here and play until I know how to do this. And that's when I started to really engage with the instrument and get a little bit better, and then he'd give me something else, Stairway to the Stars, with some chords that were interesting to me. I don't know why, Stairway to the Stars. And then they sent me to Frank Cunimando, who's still around, who I saw recently, who's in Pittsburgh, who's a jazz player who had gigs then, was recording then. I saw him and we played together recently, and I went over to his house and he showed me how to read harmony and chords and how to maybe improvise on top of those. I started to do that, started to go through the fake book. I went and got the telephone book and called cocktail lounges and said, hey, I hear you need a piano player. I was trying to get a job.
How old were you at this point?
15, 14, 15, something like that. And most of them said, no, who's this? We don't have a piano here. Okay, never mind. And I thought I was being clever. And a couple people said, yeah, we got a piano. Nobody's playing it right now. Who's this? How old are you? Okay, come over. Let's see what you can do. My parents drove me, and I got a couple of jobs that way.
That's amazing.
That's when I started, just as a lark. And that kind of continued. I snuck it into The Fly.
Yep.
David Cronenberg. My character came to play the piano at one point. He allowed me to do that. And in another movie, I think Earth Girls Are Easy, I played the piano. So I did that a couple times. I did it on stage in a couple of shows in New York that I got in. And then 30 years ago or so, 35 years ago, I was with Peter Weller. We'd just done Buckaroo Banzai. He plays horn. He used to come over to my house. We'd go through the books and play his thing. And then he said, we should play Out and About. I know a guy who on Sunset Plaza who has a restaurant. On Sundays we can set up at brunch, and he says we can come over and play. We started to do that. He knew another musician. There was a guitarist involved. And it kind of evolved. Whenever I wasn't acting, we found a place, here or there that kept changing.
Where is the weirdest place or most unusual that you have hopped on the keys?
Okay, off the top. I didn't know you were going to ask that off the top of my head. Well, like I say, I'm disciplined, so I like to play every day, go through my homework, So when I'm on the road, sometimes I get a chance to have a piano in the room, but sometimes I go down to the lobby. So I've played in lobbies and people say, oh, look who it is. playing on the piano. I say da-da-da. So there's that. That isn't as weird as, well, this is sort of weird and unexpected, but Aerosmith, who I met when I hosted Saturday Night Live, one of the 2 times I did, was the guest.
Yep.
We got palsy. I played a little bit with them when they just, in rehearsal. Then they were doing a big show outdoors.
Yeah.
I was on the side of the stage. Steven Tyler says, "Hey, Jeff, are you going to play with us or what? Come on, Jeff, let's play." And I said, "Sure." I hopped out. The piano player said, "What are you playing?" He said, "Here's the key." I said, "Okay," and I played with them. That's kind of weird.
Pretty awesome.
And awesome. That's the word I was looking for.
She jealous, a big challenge. Bring it on, my baby, blue.
If I see a piano,
You're
I'll
there.
I'll start to plunk it. Hey, we were getting a little private tour of the White House. On one occasion, we were there while the great President Obama was there. And sure enough, I said, what, look at that. Yeah, that's been the piano since, I think George Washington or somebody brought that in. Hey, do you ever let anybody play? Well, not usually, but if you wanted to play, yes. And I played
awesome.
something. How about that?
I knew that you would have some answers.
Yeah.
For a fan who has never had the opportunity to see you live with the band,
Yes, ma'am.
what can they expect from a show?
They're always different, spontaneous, and fun things seem to happen. You'll see this band, which is great. I play with, I'm keeping up as I've told you, but the players are great.
Yeah.
And so they'll see some great players. They'll see something and other things in the vein of what you may find on this album, classic standards from the American Songbook and this and that, and our own special arrangements of them, and then improvisation, and as jazz players do. We almost always have a guest singer.
Yes.
And we've been joined by great people. On the albums, we've had Fiona Apple and Kelly Clarkson and Miley Cyrus and Gregory Porter. And live, we've had some great people. So we'll have some surprise singers with us and like that.
It's pretty amazing, the people that you get to work with.
You're telling me I'm very, very lucky, and I'm never not grateful. I'm always aware of it.
Do you ever bust out a tap move on stage?
I have. I'm in the show business, and I'm an old cornball, and here and there, just for the fun of it, yes, if I feel like, I'll tap for a moment, and I can bring out my rope tricks. Don't be surprised if I bring out my rope tricks here and there, and
I've been told you scat a little bit too sometimes.
Hiddly biddly bee bee. Yeah, sure.
This might be a hard or impossible question. Of the
Okay.
Wicked songs, which is most scatable?
Gee, Stephen Schwartz. What are there any things that are kind of jazzy? I've spent most of the time with my little couple of songs that I do.
Yes.
So I'm a sentimental man. Oh, I'm sure in kind of trying to explore every possibility. Yeah, I was sentimental man. That's the date, whatever I did. Yeah.
So I want to touch on your Billboard chart history.
Okay, this may be
Your-
news to me, but this
Maybe.
this could be fun.
It is fun. It's all
Okay.
good things. Your debut album topped
ma'am.
our jazz albums chart, went #1 with your debut, and then last year
Wow.
you debuted on our Hot 100 chart, which is for songs with the Wicked cast. Do you celebrate these milestones? Maybe you don't pay attention to these milestones.
As you can tell, it's always surprising when I hear about it again. It's not as if You're
not sitting there looking.
It's not my main focus, I must say, but it's delightful.
Yeah.
Now that you've mentioned it again, here on our show, if that's what this is, I celebrate it right now. Yeah, what's a song that can be most,
A celebratory song?
celebratory song? Alex Frank
Celebration.
will know one, but I'll think of, before you do, I'm going to think of one. Let me see. I got the music in me, I got the music in me. Or, for once, I can say this is mine, you can't take it. Or, what's that? What musical is this from? Just once in a lifetime, a man knows a moment, one wonderful moment when fate takes his hand, and this is my moment. What show is that from? I don't know.
You're like a jukebox.
I'm a good jukebox, but I don't know everything. But someone may know that.
You really have accomplished a lot of impressive things. Is there one that stands out that you're particularly proud of in your life and career?
Well, that's a deep and an interesting and provocative question. But off the top of my head, marrying Emily Goldblum and having River and Charlie Goldblum.
Future piano stars.
Well, who knows? But just whoever they are, it's a kind of fantastic, as you may know.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing like that. Ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. Just the fact that I've been able to stay involved and kind of feel like at this point I get the opportunities I'm getting are more luscious and nutritious and nourishing. That is kind of was my focus from the start. Gee, this is a creative adventure, a wild-hearted adventure, and that's really what I'm after. And to the extent that it has, unexpectedly really kind of been marvelous.
Yeah.
Besides all the things that I enjoy, Wicked, and I mean, there are good actors who have big careers, but they never get to be in a movie that rings the bell with the crowd like that seemed to in Jurassic Park and a couple other things,
Totally.
So I'm a lucky guy.
I want to end by asking you, because we started talking about Still Blooming, The Best Is Yet to Come.
Yes.
This album is about to come out. Wicked Part 2 is coming. What else are you dreaming about? What else do you kind of want to grow and see bloom?
I'm of two minds. One is that if nothing were to happen, there's a word for this. Oh, I know what it is. Diano, you know what that means? You do?
Of course I do.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Well, that means, Diano, for those who don't speak French, it means if nothing were to happen after this,
enough.
I'd be satisfied. That's a kind of wise aspiration to have, I think. I like what I have. This is my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
We're trying to teach our kids that, and I'm trying to employ that every day myself. So there's that. Having said that, because I certainly had a full plate
Yeah.
that I couldn't squawk about. Having said that, I've never had as sharp an appetite to do more. And what specifically would that be? Well, there's tons more music that I can imagine, tons of people that I would work on. Hey, for instance, what if we were to sing with Billie Eilish, which we were talking about the other day? You know who I met at the premiere of Wicked in Los Angeles was Leve.
I mean, she's a perfect fit to work with.
I think so too, and if you think so, that's
Yes.
encouraging. Well, who knows? So who knows? There's a world of possibilities, and it would all be just delicious.
You've mentioned Billy before. Is there any movement? Have you gotten any closer to working together?
Well, no, we haven't. No, I've only, yapped about it on a couple of occasions, spontaneously, without any strategy, and I don't think we have in any way. We got to talking. I adore her, and we got to talking. I ran into her at one of these events, and it was fun. So no, we haven't done anything.
But there's a lot to look forward to. The album is so fantastic. I feel very honored to have heard it, and I can't wait for everyone else to.
I so appreciate you saying thank you very, very much.